What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of This Hits Different, hosted by yours truly, Riley Nelson. I should have thought a little bit more about what I was going to talk about today. I really haven't. I got a new camera, and I actually bought a professional camera. I haven't used it yet for the interviews, so the next two episodes will be like lower quality video, but hopefully soon. And here on out, we'll have professional, high quality video. But yeah, okay. What's new? I feel like so much has been going on in my life. I have been so busy. Like, I know that people say that, but like, I truly am going all day, every day. And it's been a lot, but it's also been so fulfilling. So let's talk a little bit about Dave Portnoy. So, I had heard through the grapevine that he was going to be in Nashville, and he was hosting a sports watch party last Sunday at Barstool. And you guys know Barstool is my stomping ground. Like, I freaking love that place. I really like the people there. I've made friends, and I'm like friends with the bouncers and whatnot. Shout out to them. Shout out to Vinny and Mondi and Adam and now I'm panicked. I'm on the spot. And Adam and Chaz. Those are like my core group of guys. Oh no, and then there's also AK. Okay, anyways. Shout out to you guys. But anyways, so they're the whole reason I was able to even talk to or get within 3 feet of Dave Portnoy. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So last week, I am doing like my daily thing. I go to church, and then I'm like running some errands. And I was so like kind of down, and I was just like, what's the point? Like, I was just like sick and not feeling great. And I was like, what's the point of even going to Barstool? Like, what are the odds I'm even going to get to talk to Dave Portnoy? Probably slim to none. Like, this just feels like a waste of time. And I'm on the phone with my dad, and he's like, Riley, you never know. Like, just get up, put on some makeup, and just go and see what happens. And I was like, fuck, okay, you're right. So I get up, I do my hair and makeup, I go and I walk in, and I'm like chatting with my guy, Adam. And I'm talking with him, and I'm just like, talking with him for a minute, and he's like, oh, well, Dave's over there. And I was like, slay, he's still here. And he was like, yeah, like go over there. So I walk over into the VIP area, which isn't roped off or anything this day. Like it was very chill. It was like pretty calm. Like there weren't that many people. No one was really like making a scene around Dave. And I'm like walking around like trying to find him. And I spot Vinny and Chaz and Mondi, and I'm talking with them, and, they're like, where are your friends? And I told him, I was like, I literally just came here to talk to Dave Portnoy. Like, I didn't come with any friends. Like, I just wanted to, like, get some FaceTime with him. And Vinny is like, oh, well, come with me. Like, do you want me to introduce you? And I was like, yeah. So Vinny's like, come with me. So I walk over with Vinny, and he walks me right up to Dave's table. There's a security guard. He chats with the guard for a second. They step aside. They let me in, and they're like, hey, Dave, we have this girl that we really want you to meet. I think that, you would like her a lot. And so I'm like, holy shit, it's happening. Like, it all just happened so fast. And y'all, I had been planning what I was going to say for days, because I was like, okay, if I'm going to talk to Dave Portnoy, and I'm going to like try to like get him to like notice me, and like maybe even like pick me up for Barstool, who knows? That's like the goal here. But like, I have to say something that's so memorable that is just going to like grab his attention. But also like, I don't know, but I was like, I just have to say something. I've been like crafting different things to say and whatnot. And I finally like settled on this. But so I walk up to Dave, I shake his hand, and I'm like, hi, Dave Portnoy. I'm Riley Nelson. And he's like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I host a podcast. And I'm telling him about the podcast. And I said to him, and I fucked up. I was like so nervous, y'all. I was literally like shaking, and like I was trying to stand confidently and seem like I was hot shit, but I was so fucking nervous. My knees were about to cave in. And I go, everything that I had planned on saying completely went out of my head. And I said, I'm either going to make you millions, or I'm going to be your biggest financial loss. And I immediately was like, what the fuck, Riley? That is not what we practiced. And I'm like panicking. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, biggest financial loss. And I go, I'm sorry. I was like, that sounds like I'm mean to like take down your company. That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say I'm going to be your biggest missed opportunity. And he was like, okay, well, like, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. And I was like, well, I host a podcast. It's called This Hits Different. And he's like, what's it about? And I was like, I bring on artists and I interview them. I talk about new music. And I said to Dave Portnoy, I go, you don't really have any talent in Nashville. And I think that needs to change. I think that you need to sign some Nashville talent and add us to your roster. And he was like, you're right. Like, we should talk. And I was like, let's. And so he's like, shoot me an email and we'll talk. And I was like, alrighty. So I pull out my phone. He gives me his email and I was like, hey, would you mind writing it down? Just because I was so fucking nervous. I was like, I don't want to like forget it and then fuck up and like send it to the wrong fucking person. So he writes down his email and I'm like, thanks, King. I look forward to working with you. And I walk away and I didn't bother him again. I like was talking with some like friends that I had ran into. I'm talking with the bouncers. I like go upstairs. I finished the recording of like my talking to Dave Portnoy. Honestly, I'll clip it right here. Hey besties, it's Riley. Apparently Dave Portnoy gonna be at Barstool in Nashville today. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see if I can get some FaceTime with him. This is a long shot. Is there even like a possibility that I'm like really gonna meet them? Probably not. But I'm gonna give it a chance. Let's go try to meet Dave Portnoy. I am listening to Feeling Myself. I'm trying to hype myself up because this feels like kind of stupid. Like, am I realistically going to be able to meet them? Probably not. But in the small case that I can finesse myself into the room, I have planned out what I am going to say to Dave Portnoy if the opportunity is presented. It either could be really cool and really like something that he's like grabs his attention, or it might not be. Am I taking a risk here? I am. You know what? No risk, no reward. I'm literally shaking. Dave Portnoy just gave me his email. I just walked up to him and I said, I'm either gonna make you millions or I'm gonna be your biggest lost opportunity. And he said, who are you? And I said, my name is Riley Nelson. He goes, I'm intrigued. And I go, I have a podcast. It's called This Is Different. I interview artists and we talk about new music and up and coming music. And then I said, you need some podcasts in Nashville, and I'm based out of Nashville. And then he said, send me a pitch, and gave me his email. Guys, my hands are literally shaking right now. Okay, so that's like the video I was making. So I go upstairs, I'm finished making that video. I'm shaking. I'm like full on adrenaline, like coming down from it. And I'm trying to like not panic. I'm like, be cool, be cool, be cool. So finally, like I gathered myself together upstairs. Then I go back down into the VIP section and like make eye contact with Dave a few times. You know, kind of walking around, like owning the room, talking with people. And it just ended up being really good. And then all the bouncers were like, hey, we're going out after this if you want to come. And I was like, I'm sick. Like I was at the end of a sinus infection and I was like, I'm good on that. I'm just gonna like hang out. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna do whatever. So I go home, immediately work on my pitch, and I emailed it to him that night. And he hasn't answered yet. And that's okay because Dave Portnoy, you are a busy man. I understand. You got a company to run. You got talent to find. But if you want to send it over to your talent acquisition, that would be greatly appreciated. But I sent him my pitch deck and I sent it to him, and then I followed up on Thursday. Still waiting to hear back. So that's the update on that. But also, like, even if nothing comes of this, like, it's good to like just show face and like get to meet him. And then down the line, where not to be like cocky, but I'm sure we're gonna like meet each other again. Like, I really truly believe that. There's that familiarity and like we can build, you know. But just to have that, I'm not gonna bother him anymore after that follow-up email. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. We're gonna see. But you guys, I have a lot of really big podcast opportunity right now. And I don't want to talk about it yet because I don't want to jinx it. But just know that good things are happening to Rai Rai. That was so cringe. But like good things are really happening lately. 11/11 is my day. And so November 11th, I went and got a tattoo. I got 11/11 tattooed on me because it means dreams becoming a reality. It means to follow your passion, and it means that you're on the right path. And so I see 1111 twice a day, every day. It is like my thing. And I wanted this tattoo for years, and it was 1111, and like the day, it was November 11th, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do this. So I went in, I got my tattoo, and I was super excited. But yeah, so I'm really excited for next year. I think 2023 was a year. Was it my year? Yes and no, because there was a lot of change. There was a lot of growth. But it was a lot of stripping away for new things to come in, and new things have come in. And now like I've kind of taken root in those, and I have the potential to grow it and expand it. So I really feel like next year is going to be a year of wins for me, I hope. But yeah, so that's my life. That's what's going on. Thanksgiving is coming up. I leave, if you're listening to this on Monday, I leave Tuesday, like tomorrow, to go home. And this is the first time I'm actually like really excited to go home. I haven't been home in over 6 months. I haven't seen my dad in 6 months. Like, that's really fucking sad. I call him like 17 times a day though. But my mom and sister did come in town. So I got to see them. But like, I'm just really like ready to go home. Am I nervous to see people from home? Yes, but I feel like I'm kind of ready this year. Like, I am going to go to our local bar on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And I'm going to go on Blackout Wednesday, and I'm going to go and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to talk to people from high school and kind of show them what I got, because I feel like I got a lot. And I skipped that last year because I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this. But this year, I think I'm ready to like actually show up and show out. I am nervous about seeing people from high school, but like, I feel really good about my life right now and where it's at. And I'm actually excited to like show people that like I've done something. And that sounds kind of fucked up, but like if you've been bullied in high school or junior high, like you probably understand this feeling. But I'm kind of ready to like show my life and share it, and maybe rub it in their faces a little bit. That might sound a little shitty, but honestly, it's the truth. Oh, my mom's gonna kill me for saying that. But if you listened to last week's episode, I want to say thank you for hearing my story. I've gotten so many sweet, amazing messages from you all saying, you know, sharing your stories and thanking me for sharing mine. And so having the opportunity to create a safe space for you guys is one of my biggest blessings. Some people were upset of things I shared, and I think it was hard for my family. A lot of them were mad that I had shared it while I'm like trying to grow in my career, because they're like, we don't want your bosses to see this. And I'm like, no part of me is ashamed of my story. I am so grateful for the things that have happened to me and the things I've been through, because they have truly strengthened me and made me who I am today. Because last week's episode, even though it was kind of heavy and it was kind of sad, like it ends so happy and so loved and fulfilled that like I would not have this if it wasn't for the things that have happened to me. And even though they're negative and they're hard to talk about and they're dark, I would go through every single thing again to be who I am today, because I truly believe that I'm here for a bigger purpose. And I don't know exactly what that purpose is, but I do believe that like I want to help people through stories and through relatability. And I want you guys to know that you are not alone in what you're going through. What you see on social media is fake. And I know that we all know this, but like people don't go on social media and talk about times that they've had eating disorders and how they feel really insecure. And people on social media don't show them crying because they are so insecure and like don't want to go out because they don't like the way they look. People don't share that stuff, but know that it does happen. It's happened to me. Like it happens. And life is fucking hard. And people can be so cruel and so shitty, but people can also be so amazing and so loving. And I really feel like sharing my story last episode was like really big, because it was things I didn't know if I would ever share publicly. And I'm really glad that I did, even though my platform isn't huge. Like it's out there now. And some people were upset that I had shared so much. And they were like, I don't get why you did that. But explaining to them the messages and the feedback I got is why I do it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love you guys. I am thankful that you allow me to do this and you give me the platform and the space to be myself. And I'm grateful that hopefully you love me and my personality. So I'm really excited for what's to come next year. So without further ado, I want to jump into the episode with Johnny Cattini. Before we do, obviously we're going to do some housekeeping things. I feel like I haven't done this in a while. Maybe not. But as always, go follow me on socials. You can find my personal at hosted by Riley Nelson, and you can find the podcast at This Hits Different Podcast. It's been a while since I've asked you guys to email in, write me some stories, share some things with me. So you can always go on my website. I also feel like I haven't asked for ratings and reviews in a while, and I could be completely wrong, so don't pull it up. But this kind of stuff really helps me whenever you share it. And I want to implore you to tell your friends about this podcast, share it on socials and tag me. Please, please, please. It helps me so much by boosting my show and me and the algorithm. And I want to do this full time, and I need your help. So if you're listening to this right now, please post it on your story, tell your friends, share it. Okay, so Johnny Cattini just released his first album. It's called English Boy, American Man. Johnny is an incredible musician. He is so stupid talented, you guys. If you're ever in Nashville and he's playing, go see him. I've seen him perform live, and he is just like, he eats, sleeps, and breathes music. And if you want to hear good music, go listen to this album. It really does take you through a journey. And I think that y'all are really going to enjoy my talk with him. Johnny was such an amazing person to chat with. He inspires me, and he works so hard at what he does. And he truly gets to live the musician's dream. So, yeah, go check out Johnny Cattini. So without further ado, let's get into the episode with Johnny Cattini. It is the moment that we have all been waiting for. I am joined here today with the one, the only, Johnny Cattini.
Hey, Riley. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Welcome to This Hits Different.
This Hits Different. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Okay, so we're going to just kind of jump right into it. But tell me a little bit about your start in music and how you decided to go from doing it as a passion to doing it as a career.
Okay, yeah. So I grew up in upstate New York, and my dad was always in cover bands and stuff, and he used to rehearse at a futon store that is our friend owned, and he would rehearse there late at night, and I just watched him, and he kind of, I was lucky that he encouraged me to play because it was something I loved straight away, and I just started playing guitar, and I was in bands throughout high school, and then I discovered Berkeley because I Googled John Mayer.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I was like, what school did John Mayer go to? And then I was like, well.
I feel like that's so Berkeley.
It really is. I feel like a lot of kids did that. I told people I did that, and I was kind of embarrassed. And then I found out a lot of people did that. So
yeah,
it's a good plug for them.
Yeah. So your dad was in cover bands. That's so fun. I wish my family was musical. They're not. So I was not the weird one, but the odd duck out in my town. So I feel like it was music was not seen as a career, Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that as well through the eyes of some of my other friends who wanted to do music, and I think their parents were a little bit more skeptical that they could turn it into something. But I think I just lucked out. Since my dad, it was also a passion of my dad's. I think he kind of was cool with me going for it, and yeah.
Yeah, because he knew you could make a career out of it.
I think so. Yeah. And also it started as just something that we would do together, jam out, bond, not even really thinking about what it would mean other than we're just having fun and
yeah,
so
yeah. So you play guitar and you're also a vocalist as well. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you kind of got your start playing guitar, and then now you're kind of branching out as an artist. Is that correct?
Yeah. I always wrote songs and sang songs, but I definitely focused on guitar more rather than singing. I never considered myself much of a singer. I feel like singing for me was because nobody else in the band wanted to sing. And I was like, all right, I'll take the responsibility. And then I got more into it, and now I write songs, and I love singing, but yeah, definitely guitar centered music usually. Yeah. Lots of guitar solos.
Yeah, was that your major at Berkeley?
It was, yeah, performance.
Yeah. Who are some of your professors? Because I did 5 week. We talked about this
Oh
before,
yeah,
but
maybe do you know Abby Zoker? She was like the
no.
Joni Mitchell lady.
Wait, she's just
like
who
an
did I
awesome
have?
person.
I had some really cool professors, but now I can't remember their names. You know, I had so 5 week. You know how they like give you like mentors or whatever. They like teach you theory and stuff, but then they also are like there to like I don't know. Anyways, mentor you, I guess. One of mine was Amy Allen, but she was like an alum of the school. She was just
Okay.
like doing the 5 week program. But she's like a really big songwriter now out in LA. And now every time I'm like, oh, that's such a flex. Like she's so cool. And I'm like, that was my mentor.
Nice. I don't know if I know her, but I don't remember the 5 week how they did that. Actually, that like is like a black zone for my
Yeah.
memory that whole
Yeah.
time.
But you did 5 week.
Well, yeah, in like 2012.
Yeah. And then what year did you go to Berkeley?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said that you dropped out and then you graduated.
I did, yeah. I got all the way to like my last semester, and then I was in a band at the time, and we just like put our music up on like Facebook, and this management company found it, and they had us out to like New York, and we like opened up for Mount Joy and all that, and so I dropped out because I thought it was like this, like I was like, oh, I did it, I got to the point that I wanted to through the school where I got like this opportunity,
Yeah.
and then like that fell through, so I went back to school.
So then you went back to school. You're like, this is it. This is my big break. And then it was like, no, it's not. But that's okay because it leads you to where you are. So what year did you graduate?
2018.
Okay. And then when did you decide to come to Nashville? Did you come right after then? What brought you here?
Yeah, I stayed in Boston for a while because my band was there, and like we would tour the Northeast, and everybody had like good situations there. Then I was out in LA for a lot of 2020 before the pandemic, and then I was gonna move to North Hollywood into a couple of my friends' place. But then I just decided, like, once the pandemic hit, I was just gonna chill at home, like everybody did, and then eventually I realized I like Nashville a lot. So
Yeah. Well, you're a northern boy. How is it being in the South?
I find people like really friendly here. That was like the biggest change for me. It was like there's like that Southern hospitality kind of thing.
And it's like very real. I'm from Texas, and so when I was looking at Berkeley and Belmont, those were the only two colleges I took seriously. The others, I think I like literally submitted online auditions. I was like, I don't give a fuck about these schools. So I auditioned for Berkeley and Belmont, and then I ended up getting into both, which was like
Nice.
one of my biggest flexes. I was like, ooh, I got into both.
yeah.
But then I don't know. I wanted a little bit like going and living in Boston was like intimidating, but I also just felt like this weird draw to Nashville. And I was like, I just felt like called to be here. And I was like, I don't know what my purpose is, but like right now I feel like I need to be in Nashville over Boston. But then also all of my friends that ended up going to Berkeley all dropped out. So I was like, okay, I think I made the right choice.
One thing I think is cool about Belmont is like you're already in the industry here. Like you're already in a place where a lot of people move. Like people go to Berkeley, but then everybody pretty much goes to LA, Nashville, or New York sometimes.
Yeah. Do you know, this is kind of random. I can't cut this part out. My cousin used to go to Berkeley around the same time that you did.
Oh.
Do you know Madison Campbell?
That actually sounds familiar.
She has like an artist name now under Marley Moon.
Dang. I bet if I saw a picture of her.
Yeah, I'll have to show you one after this.
Yeah.
My cousin used to go there. And so like that's kind of how Berkeley was even put on the map for me because she did 5 week and all the things. And I was like, oh, that seems like fun. And then she lived there and went to college, but you know, she dropped out.
Marley Moon, that's a good name.
I know,
like
isn't it a good stage name? She has really good music. She's gonna come on the pod sometime. But yeah, so you have an album coming out.
I do, yeah.
So it's called English Boy, American Man.
Yes, that's right.
Tell me a little bit about it. Why did you choose to name it that way?
I was born in England, so
Okay.
Honestly, I just thought of it as like, I just thought it sounded catchy. But I love English music, so then I started thinking about it a little more deeply, and I was like, a lot of the music on the album is influenced, like 60s, 70s English music, 90s like Oasis and stuff like that, and then and now I'm a man, so I'm an American man.
Yeah. Wait, so you were born in England?
I was, yeah.
Wow. How long did you live there?
Until I was 3, and then so I can't really remember it. And I
Yeah.
lost my accent as I moved to New York.
Sucks.
Yeah, I know. It totally does. Totally does.
You should have kept the accent.
I know. I really
Do your
wish
parents
I
have
could.
accents?
They do. Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
so are they like born and raised?
Yeah, they
in
were both
England?
born in there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did they move here for work or something, or why?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my dad moved for work, and we just went with him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so cool. That would have been really cool if you had an
I
accent.
know.
You're like, shit, just
I
fake it.
know.
Honestly, no one's gonna know.
But then when you go to England, it's like the other way around. They're like, oh, like they think Americans are cool. So
Really?
double-edged sword, I guess.
Oh my god, every person from England I've met is like, ew, you're American. Ew,
There
that
is a
beer's
little-
shit beer. You drink this, you drink that. I'm like,
There's a little
leave
bit
me
of that.
alone.
Like my cousins like definitely tease me about like American culture, but I think they also, there's certain aspects of it that are interesting,
yeah,
to them.
yeah. So, what made you decide to put together an album?
I just feel like it was time. I was doing like lots of singles and EPs, and I feel like nowadays I'm still releasing it as singles because it's just like more shots on goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I wanted to like compile it so that there was actually something to like go to at the end,
Yeah.
for people to listen to like a full project.
Yeah.
Something cohesive and.
And
Yeah.
have you put some of the songs out as singles?
Yeah, I have. Like honestly,
Okay.
over half already. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so you're like, oh, I already got it,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
mastered, ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about a few of the songs. Let me pull out my notes because I don't have my phone. Okay. So let's actually, you know what? First, I want to like have you, before I do my list.
Yeah.
I want you to kind of walk me through the creative process for you and like, what is the story behind the album? Why did you choose to put the songs in the order that they are in? Like, is there a story?
Yeah.
Tell me all the tea on the album.
So I was sending demos to like a really good friend of mine, my friend John Schiff in Brooklyn, and I was just sharing these demos with him just to get his thoughts. And then it just got to the point where I was like, maybe I should come out. We should record these together because he's a great producer, and he has this studio out there. Or at the time, he actually just moved into a bigger studio. But anyways, that's
Besides the point.
yeah. At the time, at the time, he had this really small studio. Like, you could barely fit like 2 people in there when you have the drums and like the amps in there. But it was kind of cool because there's nothing you could do in there except make music. So we would just be in there for like 10 hours a day. So I went down to Brooklyn for like a week. We had like 15 or 20 demos, and we ended up just recording 7 and like kind of let it happen naturally. Like whatever he gravitated towards, what excited him, I was generally down to go in that direction. And yeah, that was kind of the process of making it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the like? There's like the technical process, but like, what's the story behind it?
Oh yeah.
Just like your life, what you're going through, dating, like what's the tea?
Sure, yeah, the tea. Okay. Well, one thing that I've been thinking about a lot for a while now is just with technology. The first song on the album is called "Cut the Chords," and it's kind of about what would happen if society decided to like have a revolution against how far we've got with like social media.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody was to just like black out, to, like
Just
go off
stop.
their phones, like what
Yeah.
would happen? I just think for me, like there's usually a direct correlation of like when I'm not on my phone, like my happiness goes up. But I'm
Yeah.
also like definitely addicted to my phone. So it's not like an attack or it's more of like me trying to be more aware of how I actually feel when I'm about it in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe I feel like other people feel the same way as me because like when I'd open up about that, like to people, it seemed like other people are like I don't really feel like social media necessarily makes anybody super happy after they spend like a lot of time on it.
Yeah. I agree.
Like it has great functions. Like I love it for like this kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
being able to connect with people and so. But when you're just like scrolling and stuff, I feel like it's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
and it's hard to like manage the amount you're on it. So that's what one of the songs is about.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Do you have a time limit on your social media? Like
I
you know how
do, but
you
then
can.
I just still like don't have the discipline to. I'll just be like, all right, well, I can just ignore the limit.
Yeah. I do
So,
that too.
Yeah.
Especially with like TikTok, it's so addicting, but it's also like, it's a like you said, it's a double-edged sword because it's like if I'm not up to date on trends and I'm not up to date on what's going on, then like that affects my business.
Right.
And so like it's easy to like scroll and, you know, become lost in the age of technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at what cost, you know?
Mhm.
And then it's so hard because it's like for me, it's part of the business, but also
Right. It's your
it
job,
doesn't
right?
and it,
Yeah.
and it doesn't stop. And I'm sure you're probably the same way with like TikTok and social media as an artist, because that's kind of like, you know, you just have to do it now and it sucks.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah. There's not really like a choice.
yeah.
You know.
It's funny actually. Every single episode, every artist I interview, I think we always talk about this subject, but like everyone is feeling the exact same way, but like we can't stop it because it's already there, and like labels and management teams and everyone, like you have to be on social media, and like you have to like do that because it's a direct line of communication with your audience, which is the coolest thing and like the most special thing. And you know, a lot of people didn't get that before, you know, before this
Yeah, it's
age
true.
of technology.
It is true.
You never
Yeah.
got to speak directly to your fans unless you're on stage.
Right. It's kind of amazing, and maybe that's why it's lasted, because it does have so many amazing functions. But yeah, I guess it just makes me think. I guess it's just hard to monitor like anything.
Yeah.
But I guess it's really, at the end of the day, it's kind of your this Dawes song called "Free As," I think it's "Free As We Want to Be," and it's a really good message because it's like you kind of have the choice at the end of the day how much you want to be influenced by it, like,
Yeah.
by technology, you know, how you want to use it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some of the songs on here. These are the ones I have written down. If there's any others that you're like,
Yeah, go for it.
no, this one has to be talked about, bring it up.
Sure.
Okay, so we started with Cut the Chords as an intro. My little notes say that it was upbeat, and I feel like it's a really good album intro.
Thank
It's
you,
kind of
yeah.
like it's like a good like starting point for the album, and then also like gives you room to build. But then also like I can see it like the way I visualize things is like performance based, and so like I can like see it like starting a show and like getting the audience all hyped up.
That was
and,
definitely the idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was like Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles. That was like a big influence on this song. Like starting with like something short, but also really upbeat, and yeah.
like a little hype song.
Yeah, basically.
Your
yeah.
walk up song.
Yeah.
And then that next one I have is Atmosphere. That one I felt like it was like kind of like beachy, psychedelic.
Oh, yeah.
And I really liked that like creative aspect of it. And also I wanted to say you have a beautiful voice,
Oh,
because
thank you. Thank
your
you.
voice really shines in that song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Can you tell me a little bit about that one and what it means to you, why you wrote it, all the tea?
Yeah. That one is kind of about, I feel like I'm gonna get like heavy out of nowhere, but
Bring it in. That's what we're here to do.
that's what we're here for. Yeah.
Trust me, there's nothing that you could say on this podcast that is heavier than some of the shit I've ever said on here.
It's basically like my fear of like getting older. Like the verses are basically talking about that. Like regret. I feel like I regret a lot sometimes, or like feel like I'm getting too old to be doing what I'm doing, maybe, or not too old to be doing what I'm doing, but I just like feel like we all face that a little bit, like
Yeah.
just like aging in general, really. And then the choruses are kind of like flip the script a little bit, like mood wise and lyrically, and it's kind of about how like if a partner in your life can kind of save you from that feeling, like it's actually okay to. It's a comforting feeling to age if you're doing it with somebody you love.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the message of the song.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that. How old are you? Like 26?
28.
Oh, 28.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Your skin is really good. What's
Oh, thank you.
Your forehead is so smooth.
I put Nivea on from time to time. But other than that, I don't know.
Oh, I could never. My forehead's too expressive, but I put Botox in it so it stays smooth. But yeah, I get that. I mean, 30 is approaching, and I feel like that's always a scary number sometimes. But then also, sometimes the way you got to look at it is that aging is a blessing.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of people don't get to.
Yes, that's a really good point. Perspective. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
We're trying to switch it up to be a little happier, but I know what you mean. Like I'm pretty young. I'm still 23, and like I'm still relatively new out of college. We're about a year and a half out, and that like post graduation, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Who am I? Like, what's the word? When someone's having like, oh, like a midlife crisis, but
Oh yeah,
like,
quarter life.
but not even quarter life. But yeah. Anyways, I was just having some kind of like identity crisis. Maybe that's the right word.
Yeah, I guess one thing I think about is like people, sometimes older people, like, oh, I wish I was younger again, like that. But then also, I feel like thinking about it, I feel like maybe the best years will be when you get to start a family and stuff like that. I think it's kind of up to like the mentality you have, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think you can be just like the happiest you could ever be, like later in life of a family. You know, so I look forward to it at the same time. So
Yeah.
that's another way to think about it.
Yeah. Are you dating anyone?
I am, yeah.
Ooh. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Sure, yeah. We've been together for like 2 years now, and we actually dated in high school. And
Every time it does this, it keeps
oh, okay, might have
recording,
gone
and it
off.
stresses me out because I'm like, what if it doesn't?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it looks like it's good.
Yeah. Y'all started dating in high school.
We did, yeah. And then we split up for about like 6 years, and then 2 years ago we like reconnected. So,
Aw.
and then we live in Nashville together now. So
Sweetness.
yeah,
Are they from New York and they moved here, or
yeah, from upstate New York.
Okay.
So we went to like high schools near each other and stuff. Yeah,
Sweetness.
yeah.
I love that. Okay. The next one we have is too old to, oh my God, words. Too old to hide. I put 70s retro vibes. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I was going for like the whole album. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. Good. And then tell me a little bit about this one.
This
What's it
one's a
about?
little bit more like breakup-y kind of angry kind of vibe, you know,
Mhm.
like trying to get yourself to feel better after. It's a little bit about kind of being in a relationship where somebody's not really giving it to you straight, like not really being kind of, I guess what they could call it, leading you on. Yeah, getting led on in a relationship, and from my perspective, I'm kind of saying like the hook is like, aren't you too old to hide? Like, aren't you too old to like hide behind these things? Why can't we just be open and mature about it, like whether or not you want to do this or not, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just had this conversation with my dad. I'm like, I'm so tired of dating. And like, I like told my dad, I was like, I'm too old for this. I mean, I know that we're young, but I'm also like, this is ridiculous. I'm not in high school anymore. I don't want these like stupid relationships. Next one is Love You for a Day. I liked, let me see, I'm reading my notes again. I really liked, like, it was like laid back, a little more acoustic. Really good song to like show off your vocals.
Thank you.
I said I could see this in sync.
Yeah, a few people have said that about this song.
Really?
So yeah,
It's so funny how sync has such a, I don't know, it's like whenever you hear a song, you just know, you're like, oh, this could be in a film.
yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Owen
Have you ever thought about
Wilson, like mid movie, you know, like he's getting the girl back. I feel like it would be a good song.
Yes,
to cue for
that's
that.
exactly what it was like. Is like getting the girl back.
Yeah.
And then tell me about that one.
Yeah, that one is about like just an attempt to live in the moment a little bit better, and especially for your relationship, like rather than planning and obsessing over what may happen. It's a little bit more about like, let's just have today and celebrate today and be together and be very present, which I think kind of goes hand in hand with a little bit of the first song, Cut the Chords, because that's also about being present and kind of cutting off from the rest of the world. But there's a few lines in it that I like from it, like everybody talks about forever, like it's something to aspire to, like just the ways that we think about these different things. But I just want to love you for a day. Is the hook. So yeah,
That's
now I can't think of
beautiful.
the lyrics. But yeah.
You're like forgetting the words to your own song. It happens. We've all been there. And then we have Train with No Brakes. I said it's fun. It has a lot of surprise notes, and it has a really good build and a solid beat.
Yeah. Yeah, we go into like kind of like a like Indian trippy thing. Honestly, that song's pretty kind of a bit like cynical view of the world. I think I was driving through Boston one night, and there's this area called like Methadone Mile, and there's like a lot of people really struggling there and on drugs and stuff. And that was a little bit just about that experience of driving through that. And I don't know, honestly, it's just like a reflection of it's just like sad to be exposed to see how certain people have to live, and like to no fault like of their own a lot of the time as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That's so deep. I mean, you know, a lot of songs, it's, you know, people find inspiration from everywhere, but, you know, a lot of it is like love and relationships and other things. And so to like take something that is so dark and painful and like turn it into something beautiful, I love that. The other one I have is Ode to John Searle. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's
Searle?
how you say it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so scared of saying names out loud. Apparently, who is that?
That's actually my grandfather on my mom's side.
Okay.
I never met him. But I heard a lot of stories about him. He grew up in like a factory town in the north of England, like very working class, and that was kind of just the story of his life through what my mom has told me over the years. Just kind of like a fun ditty, like just something. Yeah, just like a little story, really. Kind of, I was just kind of thinking of like some of those old Beatles songs where they have like a character and they like, in this case, a lot of it is actually like true, but like there's just a bit of fun to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. I bet that's like your family's favorite song. They probably like love it. I feel like anytime I do something like musically or like with a podcast, like that's like a callback to my family, they like will not stop talking about it for the next 10 years. And then we have Fate, and you know, obviously you were a guitar major and you love the guitar, so I thought that one had a lot of like really pretty guitar moments in it. It was like super melodic. Tell me a little bit about that one.
Yeah, that one is about kind of the concept of fate in a relationship. And the first verse, it's basically a conversation. The first verse is a man speaking to a woman, and the second verse is a woman speaking to a man. But it's both their different viewpoints on how fate like affects their relationship. And yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Do you believe in fate?
That's kind of a little bit about what the song's about. It's the viewpoint of the man's kind of saying like, we have no control of this because fate has control, and then the girl's like, well, actually you do. Like, do you love me or not? Kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't know if I do. I actually don't think I do. I mean, I guess it's a big subject. I guess there's certain. Oh, we could really get into that. I'm
Get
not sure.
into it. Come on, let's go.
Do I believe in fate? I think, well, you kind of create your own opportunities and like destiny, and
I think so too.
yeah.
I think that like there's like a course and like you can stay on that, but I feel like decisions that you make can change outcomes.
Yeah, I think it's up to you.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I guess I don't, but
yeah.
But maybe through those decisions, there is like an ultimate place you're supposed to get to. But I also don't think I believe that either. I kind of think it's just a journey. So only there's like one like thing that one day you're like, oh, I made it. You know, I think it's just like you just keep going.
I know. Well, it's also hard too because like, you know, being a musician, you kind of work so hard to get to a certain point, and your whole life is getting to that point, and then you get there and you're like, oh shit, now what? Like.
Yeah, that's definitely true. What's that Disney movie? It's like the pianist. And have you seen it? I forget what it's called. It's the pianist in the bar. It came out like two years ago, but he gets like the gig of his life, and then once he finishes the gig, he gets really depressed because shoot, I wish I could remember the name of it.
I don't know.
It's like he's like a jazz pianist.
Okay. Jazz.
And they go into like this second world. I'll remember. Yeah.
If you know it, comment below. Okay. I'm trying to think what I was gonna say. Oh, touring. Can we talk a little bit about that? You've gotten to do some really cool things. Do you like being a traveling musician and being on the road?
I do a lot. I really do. I almost feel like sometimes it's more of a natural state for me than being at home.
Yeah.
Because you're always doing something, and it feels good to just be staying busy.
Yeah.
So that aspect I like.
I feel like hang on, sorry. I feel like a lot of people, because I really wanted for a while, and I still wouldn't be opposed to this, but really wanted to get into tour management. And everyone was like, no, you don't. And everyone was like, you don't want to be on the road. And everyone that like is always on the road talks about how much they hate it. And I'm like, why? It seems like so much fun. What has your experience been like?
I really love it for you get to meet a lot of people in like a small amount of time. And I feel like you meet a lot of characters and in different cities, and you're exposed to different, even it just like I mostly just toured America. I did a few dates in England, but I've mostly just done America in the last year. And it's been, I just feel like I've learned about the different facets of America a little bit better. Just like even the cultures just within our own country, and just how different people live, and like what each city's like thing is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I kind of love that.
Yeah.
And
you're on the road quite a bit, pretty much every week, right?
Yeah, it kind of comes in when it's on, it's really on, and then when it's off, I'm just here. But yeah, I was gone for 6 weeks up until last week. Okay. Which was fun. And then I did like 3-week things this year. So okay. Yeah.
You've gotten to tour with some pretty cool names. Okay, I put this down because I feel like I remember this, but then I couldn't find any evidence of it on your social media. Did you ever tour with Connor Smith, or did I make that up?
Oh, I opened up for him. I played guitar for Georgia Webster, and we opened up for him.
Maybe
I've
that's what I was thinking,
I've never played for him.
For Connor Smith, got it. Yeah, Georgia is a queen. I love her.
She's so nice.
She's dating Tucker, one of my really good friends.
Oh, you guys are friends?
Yeah,
I met him the other day. He's a really sweet guy.
Yeah, Tucker and I went to Belmont together, and we were in like the same friend groups. I took him to my formal one year. He's a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay, got you.
But yeah, so you just got to play an arena show, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we did in Knoxville, Thomas Bowling Arena. Yeah. For like Kelsey Ballerini's homecoming show is what they called it.
Yeah. What was that like?
It was really cool. And looking at, actually, like, it was crazy and it was amazing. But when you're I feel like when you're on the stage, it was kind of comforting, because I was like, oh yeah, well, this is what we do. Like, it didn't feel too crazy. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like, because at the end of the day, you just got your guitar and you're with your other bandmates who you're friends with and you just rehearsed with, and it's like, oh, we're just doing the thing. But now there's just loads of people here.
Yeah. Do you get nervous or like stage fright or anything anymore, or not really?
I've always got really nervous before shows, like my whole life, especially when I was younger. But I think you get to a certain point where if you're gigging almost like every other day, I think you develop a confidence over time, like, oh, I can do this, I've done this. Yeah. You know, like you just prove to yourself over and over again, like, oh, I know how to do this. Yeah. The only thing I ever worry about is usually like the technological side. Like I don't want anything to like fail, like random, like something you can't control that, like, you know, like a cable doesn't work out of nowhere or anything. Yes. But at the end of the day, like if that happens, you just make an audible in the moment and you just stay calm and it's all good. Like I've had to do that, and it's never really as big of a deal as you conjure it up in your head. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So.
Well, that's awesome. I know we're here to talk about your album. We're not here to talk about your guitar career, but
no, I'm down for whatever. This is
you
cool.
are killing it right now.
Thank
it
you.
seems, and your social media has been. I feel like you're just everywhere and with everyone.
Thanks.
I'm like, oh, that's good for him. Yeah, I think Georgia's gonna come on soon.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah. She'll be a great chat. Yeah. You'll enjoy
I love
that.
her.
Yeah.
We've met a handful of times. I was actually with her on Halloween weekend, but she's very sweet. But yeah, so the way I like to close out the show is I have 2 questions that I ask to everyone. So I'm going to ask you these questions. If you need a second to think about it, you can.
Let's do it.
Actually, wait, hang on. I just realized, is there any other songs on the album that you really desperately want to talk about?
No, that was all of them, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we hit them all. So yeah, thank you.
You can tell me if you want to talk.
No,
about
that was all 7. It's a short album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 2 questions, if you need like a sec to think about it, you're more than welcome to. But the first one is, what is it? I'm forgetting. I do this to everyone. Okay, the first one is, what is your biggest piece of advice to anyone who is new to the music industry and trying to make it a start in their career?
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love it. I'm just kidding. Biggest piece of advice. I think follow what you want to do at the end of the day. Like, make the music that you want to make, and I think you'll be the person who makes the best version of what you like. I just read this Rick Rubin book, The Creative Act, and it's just like I feel like all his quotes are like swimming in my head recently. But he just makes a really good point of, I think sometimes when you try to cater towards trying to assume or cater towards what somebody might view of your music, that's when it can kind of go downhill, because then you're not even really making what you want to make, and then you're also trying to guess how people might react to what you make. Mm-hmm. So I would say just stay true to what you love, and at the moment I'm trying to get better and remember like why I started music and what makes me happy, like the creative process of almost like when you're a kid and like you're discovering something on guitar. Like I'm trying to get back to that place where I'm just staying excited about discovering a new guitar tone and just letting like writing a song go in that direction and not think about rules, because there are no rules at the end of the day. Yeah. You know, like we just put those in place, but I think a lot of the best music just comes from letting stuff flow and like enjoying the process. And
some of the best songs I've written are when I'm completely alone and I just word vomit and I like let it come out. And I don't I just turn off the judgment in my brain and I just write for like 10, 15 minutes and then I just pick out, okay, here are the best parts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, co-writes and stuff are great, but sometimes like being able to do that by yourself is so therapeutic in a way that like you never realized, but it's so authentic to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And the other one is, what is one mistake that you've made that what is one thing that you had to learn the hard way? Sorry.
One thing I had to learn the hard way. Like music wise or just in general?
Both. Like thus far in your career, have you made any mistakes that you have been like, okay, I'm never going to do that again and learn from?
Yeah. I'm not sure. There's definitely, I guess there's definitely mistakes I've made. I'm trying to think like what I would never, I guess kind of going back to what I was saying before a little bit, like don't try to write. Mistakes I've made is trying to make music that I think other people might like, but it's maybe not as authentic as to myself as it is. And like with this album that I wrote, I was just like, I'm going to make what I love. And the other people who love the stuff that I love will probably love what I made as well. Rather than being like, it's not poppy enough or the chorus should come sooner. It's like making decisions based off of what you truly think is the best. Yeah.
Well, Johnny Cattini, thank you so much for coming on This Hits Different.
Thank you, Riley.
This is your chance. Plug all your socials, plug your music, plug everything. Tell everybody where they can find you.
All right. At Johnny Cattini. That's my Instagram. And that's basically where you can find everything.
Will you spell that for them too? It's going to be like in the bio, but
Cattini. Johnny Cattini.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. And as always, you know where you can find me at This Hits Different Podcast on all the social medias. And you can find my Instagram at hosted by Riley Nelson. My TikTok, same thing. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.